What if I told you negativity isn't destroying your life? Your attention is, every single day, thousands of thoughts, opinions, headlines, arguments, and criticisms fight for one thing: your mind. And the moment you give negativity your attention, you quietly give it your power. Marcus Aurelius understood this better than almost anyone. He ruled an empire surrounded by war, betrayal, political enemies, constant criticism. Yet history remembers him not as a broken man, but as one of the calmest leaders who ever lived. Why? Because he discovered a truth that most people never learn. You cannot stop negative people, negative events, or negative opinions, but you can decide whether they are allowed to live inside your mind. Think about your own life. How many nights have you replayed one negative comment while forgetting 100 compliments? How many hours have you wasted thinking about someone who probably wasn't thinking about you at all? How many opportunities have you missed because fear spoke louder than your courage? The Stoics believed your mind is like a garden. Whatever you water will grow. Feed fear, and fear becomes stronger. Feed anger, and anger spreads. Feed peace, and peace quietly transforms your entire life. Today, you'll discover the timeless Stoic principles that train your mind to ignore negativity, not by pretending it doesn't exist, but by becoming mentally stronger than it. Let's begin with the first and most important lesson. Lesson 1. Guard your mind. The greatest battle isn't happening outside of you. It's happening inside your thoughts. Every day, the world tries to decide what deserves your attention. Bad news, arguments, drama, endless opinions. But Marcus Aurelius believed your mind should never become a home for unnecessary negativity. Because the moment you stop guarding your thoughts, you stop guarding your peace. Everything changes the moment you decide that not every thought deserves your attention. Think about this. If someone walked into your home every single day, bringing anger, fear, and endless complaints, would you invite them inside? Of course not. Then why do you allow negative thoughts to enter your mind without question? The Stoics believed your mind is the most valuable place you will ever own, and just like your home, it deserves protection. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself every morning that he would meet difficult people, selfish people, ungrateful people, but he made one decision. Before the day even began, they will not change who I choose to be. That is the difference. Most people allow negativity to decide their mood. Wise people decide their mood before negativity arrives. Imagine carrying a white cloth through a dusty road. Dust will always exist, but whether you shake it off or let it cover everything is your choice. Negativity works the same way. It will always appear. Your responsibility is deciding how long it stays. Guard your mind the way a king guards his kingdom, because once negativity becomes a habit, peace slowly disappears. Now, let's move to the second lesson, one that has the power to free you from unnecessary suffering. Lesson 2. Stop taking everything personally. One comment can ruin someone's entire day. One opinion can destroy their confidence. One stranger can control their emotions. Why? Because they believe everything is about them. The Stoics saw a different truth. Most people's actions reflect their own character, not yours. Imagine someone having a terrible day. They're frustrated, exhausted, filled with anger. Then they speak harshly to you. Did you create their pain, or did you simply cross paths with it? Marcus Aurelius understood that people often act according to their own struggles, not because you deserve their negativity. The moment you stop making every criticism, every insult, and every rude comment about yourself, you reclaim your peace. Remember this. Not every opinion deserves a place in your mind, and not every voice deserves your attention. Because your peace becomes stronger the moment you stop allowing other people's emotions to become your own. Lesson 3. Ignore what doesn't matter. One of the greatest reasons people feel exhausted isn't because life is difficult. It's because they give importance to things that never deserved their attention. A stranger's opinion, a pointless argument, a negative comment, a rumor. The Stoics believed every time you react to something insignificant, you lose energy for what truly matters. Marcus Aurelius asked himself a simple question: will this matter a year from now? Think about that. How many things that upset you last month do you even remember today? Probably very few. Yet in that moment, they felt like the end of the world. This is the illusion negativity creates. It makes small problems feel enormous. Wise people break that illusion before giving anything their attention. They ask, does this deserve my peace? If the answer is no, they let it pass. Not because they are weak, but because they know every unnecessary battle steals time they'll never get back. Your attention is limited. Spend it on your purpose, not on distractions. Lesson 4. Control your attention. Where your attention goes, your life follows. Most people believe their biggest problem is negativity. It isn't. Their biggest problem is feeding negativity every single day. News that creates fear, social media filled with comparison, conversations filled with complaints. Slowly, without noticing, their minds become exactly like what they consume. The Stoics understood attention is like sunlight. Whatever you shine it on begins to grow. Feed resentment, and resentment grows. Feed gratitude, and peace grows. Imagine holding a magnifying glass under the sun. Wherever you focus it, energy gathers. Your mind works exactly the same way. You cannot control every thought that enters your mind, but you can control which thoughts you continue feeding. Marcus Aurelius chose to return his attention again and again to virtue, to purpose, to the present moment. That is why the chaos around him never became the chaos within him, because a disciplined mind doesn't follow every distraction. It chooses what deserves its attention, and that choice quietly shapes your entire life. Lesson 5. Distance yourself from toxicity. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing they must stay in every environment, no matter how unhealthy it becomes. The Stoics believed you become like the people you spend the most time with. Imagine placing a white cloth into muddy water. It doesn't become dirty all at once. It changes little by little. The human mind works the same way. Constant complaints, constant gossip, constant anger slowly become your own thoughts. Marcus Aurelius understood that protecting your mind sometimes means walking away from unnecessary negativity, not because you hate people, but because you value your peace. You cannot build a calm mind while surrounding yourself with constant chaos. Choose your environment as carefully as you choose your goals, because your surroundings quietly shape the person you are becoming. Sometimes the healthiest decision is creating distance, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Lesson 6. Master your inner dialogue. There is one voice you hear more than anyone else's, your own. And the way you speak to yourself quietly becomes the way you experience life. Most people never notice how often they criticize themselves. I'm not good enough. I always fail. Nothing ever works. The Stoics challenged those thoughts, not with false positivity, but with truth. Seneca believed we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Think about that. How many battles have you fought only inside your mind? How many fears never actually happened? Your inner dialogue can become your greatest enemy, or your greatest ally. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself to replace fear with reason, judgment with understanding, panic with patience. Every time a negative thought appears, ask yourself, is this true? Or is this only fear speaking? That simple pause changes everything, because the words you repeat inside your mind become the beliefs you carry into your future. Master your inner voice, and you'll slowly discover that the loudest negativity was never outside you. It was the story you kept telling yourself. Lesson 7. Choose your circle carefully. There is an old saying, you become the people you spend the most time with. The Stoics believed this wasn't just advice. It was a law of life. Imagine walking through a room filled with smoke. Even if you never touch the fire, the smell will stay on your clothes. Negativity works the same way. You don't need to become negative yourself. Simply spending enough time around it begins changing the way you think. Marcus Aurelius surrounded himself with people who challenged his wisdom, not his peace. People who encouraged virtue, discipline, and truth, not gossip, complaints, or constant drama. Take a moment to think about the 5 people you spend the most time with. Do they inspire you or drain you? Do they encourage growth or feed your fears? Your future will often reflect the conversations you choose to listen to every day. Protect your circle, because protecting your circle is another way of protecting your mind. Lesson 8. Turn criticism into wisdom. Most people fear criticism. They avoid it, argue against it, or let it destroy their confidence. The Stoics saw criticism differently. They asked, is there truth in it? If the answer was yes, they learned from it. If the answer was no, they ignored it. Imagine someone handing you a package. If you refuse to accept it, who keeps the package? They do. Criticism works exactly the same way. Not every opinion belongs in your mind. Marcus Aurelius believed a wise person never fears correction, because correction creates growth. But he also understood not every critic deserves your attention. Some people criticize because they want to help. Others criticize because they want to hurt. Wisdom lies in knowing the difference. The next time someone judges you, pause. Ask yourself, what can I learn? Not, how do I defend myself? That single question transforms criticism from an attack into a teacher, because every useful lesson makes you stronger, and every useless opinion becomes easier to leave behind. At the beginning of this video, I told you, negativity isn't the greatest threat. Giving it your attention is. Now, you understand why the world will never stop testing your mind. There will always be people who criticize, people who complain, people who spread fear. There will always be bad news, disappointment, failure, and uncertainty. The Stoics never promised a world without negativity. They taught how to become a person who is no longer ruled by it. Marcus Aurelius didn't become great because life was easy. He became great because he refused to let difficult moments decide the quality of his mind. Remember this, your attention is your greatest power. Where you place it determines the person you become. If you constantly focus on fear, fear becomes your future. If you constantly focus on resentment, bitterness becomes your companion. But if you focus on discipline, wisdom, gratitude, and purpose, your life begins to change quietly. Not because the world became kinder, but because your mind became stronger. Every morning, you have a choice. Feed negativity, or feed strength. Feed anxiety, or feed peace. Feed distraction, or feed purpose. Those choices may seem small, but repeated every day, they become your character, and character will always shape your destiny. Marcus Aurelius left us with one of the greatest reminders ever written. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Think about that. If your thoughts are filled with anger, your life will reflect anger. If your thoughts are filled with courage, your life will reflect courage. So choose carefully what you allow to live inside your mind, because every thought you repeatedly accept quietly becomes the person you eventually become. If this video changed the way you see negativity, subscribe to the Stoic Edge. Every week, we explore timeless Stoic wisdom to help you build mental strength, master your emotions, and create a peaceful mind, no matter what the world throws at you. Until next time, guard your thoughts, protect your peace, and remember, the world may always contain negativity, but your mind never has to become its home.